So it's the start of the new year, and what better way to start the year than doing a fitness test just to see where things are. And today I'm comparing myself to the current UK hill climbing champion, Mr. Harry Mack. Guys, welcome back to the What Life. Let's roll.
My legs are in so much pain.
I can taste blood, I can literally taste blood.
Good luck.
So it's the 3rd of January. It is really cold today and it's pretty frosty, so I'm taking it kind of very easy. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really want to come out and do a ride today. I've left it till after lunch so that the sun can come out, because there's a bright blue sky. It's just, I think it's like -2 or 2 degrees or something. I want to be careful on the roads. Anyway, let me hit you with what is going down today. I have a local hill climb I like to do as a bit of a fitness test, shall we say. And I happen to notice that Mr. Harry Mack and myself have very similar times on it. So I'm going to go and race the current hill climbing, UK hill climb champ up this climb that I do, my local Quarry Wood climb coming out of Marlow. Obviously Harry's not going to be here to defend himself, but to make it interesting, I'm going to explain to you a little bit how myself and Harry in the first place have ended up with 2 reasonably similar times, because at the moment he is only 2 seconds ahead of me, and all going well, I might be able to beat him. When I first ever did this climb a few years ago now, kind of properly, took it semi-seriously, I did it in 3:15, and I've got my time over the last 2 years down to 2:45, which I'm pretty happy with. But I know that even though my cycling hasn't been too intense lately, I know, one second, I know that as I improve, my legs are just getting more capable as a cyclist, kind of moving from running to cycling, and I'm able to kind of hold just a higher wattage for longer. Not much higher, but the time that I can hold it has increased. I think my age might be showing a little bit there. Now this climb here is perfect for Harry. It seems like, don't know the guy that well, I messaged him a few times to say hi, and well done obviously for the hill climb champs, but he seems to gravitate towards these shorter, sharper, faster climbs. Now I'm going to talk you through this one. He's done it in 2:43, and this is how me and him have similar times. Hey, well done.
Cheers.
Firstly, when I do this climb, I cycle from my house to here. It takes 15 minutes. I come smash the climb as hard as I can, and then I go home. When Harry did it, I think he was on like a 100-mile ride. I think it was like the 20th of December, maybe 2020, 2021. So it's probably full of sherry and mince pies. And we did it in a very different way. Let me explain that. The first thing to realize is that when Harry did this, he wasn't, or probably didn't know where the actual segment started and finished. You can pretty much see that we came along, got to the hill, and just gave it an absolute blast, or a bit of an effort. I held 448 watts to get my 2 minutes 45. I have to check what he did, and I'll whack it up on screen for you. Now, the actual segment starts here. Harry didn't start cycling hard until he got to the hill, which is maybe another 100 meters that way. And then he basically put his effort in there. Me, I know where the start and the finish point is, and that is going to be handy. The second thing that we did different was he basically got to the top of the climb, which is here, and didn't quite exactly, call it a day completely and just potter off, but he didn't push that hard having crested the climb. It was pretty clear that he came along, saw a hill, his personality turned on, and he went and gave it a bit of a smash. Whereas the segment that we are timing, that we are using, doesn't finish for another 120 meters down there past the last gate, the last house on the left. That's the official Strava finish point. So ultimately, I kind of cheekied my way into getting a similar time to Harry. And the only way I'm going to beat him today is that if I utilize the entire segment rather than utilizing or just using kind of the hill as a blast, which is what he did. And you can see in our data, when we got to the first turn, or the turn that's halfway up, I was like 6 seconds ahead. And then he just absolutely crucifies me by coming up the hill, the second part of the hill, so much quicker. And then luckily I pull a second or so back after we crest as we go down to the finish. So if I'm cheeky about this, I might be able to do it. Let's find out anyway. But first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna ditch some weight. I'm gonna throw... There's a few things I don't need on this. We're gonna lose the water bottle, we're gonna lose the tool bag, and we're gonna lose obviously the selfie stick on the back of the bike. And come back for that. I'm gonna bury it in the woods and come back. But that's how serious I'm taking this, Harry. I'm gonna do that, ditch all my stuff, go down, I'm gonna hit this full gas and see where we are. But, you know, I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to put myself on a level pegging with, you know, the likes of the best UK professional hill climbers. So here's a few words from Harry Mack himself and a few tips, if you will, to smashing a hill climb. Thanks, Harry.
Yo, quick little tip on how to do a 2-3 minute climb. Because it's so short, I prefer usually a negative split, but because it's so short, there's not that much time for a negative split. 3 minutes, you can kind of do a bit of a negative split. But depending on how fast you ride it, who knows. I'd say definitely go a little bit easier on where the gradient eases off a bit, and keep really the power, most of the power anyway, for when it gets steeper. But the climb you're doing, it's fairly gradual the whole way, but it is steeper at the end. So I'd say leave a little bit for the end. If you want to go completely all out, as hard as you can and get everything out, then I'd say cycle it. I'd say race it as if it was ending 30 seconds prior to when you actually finish. So you basically want to be almost dead 30 seconds from when you finish, and then just cling on for dear life, meaning you get absolutely everything you have out the way. Because if you can do a massive sprint at the end, then you haven't got everything out that you have. If you're crawling to the end of the line in like the last 5-10 seconds, then that's perfect. Good luck. Quick tip for doing an all-out effort in the cold as well. You kind of want like a snood or something over your face for like the warm-up, and do like your warm-up efforts with that over your face to kind of get your lungs properly fired up, to kind of prevent that like harsh crick cough, if you would, that you'll get from doing an all-out effort. The cold air will just get into your lungs and just ruin you. And so yeah, I'd say definitely that before as well.
One last sip. I also think that I'll probably put a bit of Christmas weight on, which isn't going to help today. But I feel pretty fit and I'm happy to give it an absolute crack. Let's see. I don't want to go flying into the first corner too fast though, because it's cold and really cold, and I'm a bit worried about the road. I'm being a bit pathetic about wanting to hit it really fast. But when Harry hit that corner, he wasn't going at like 26, 27 miles an hour. I think he was going at maybe 21, 22. So you can see when I did it, I was just tons ahead of him just by virtue of going flying into it, because I treat it like a time trial, like a segment. I get to kind of do a rolling start into it. He didn't. That's going to be my little trick. But right, I guess the only thing to do now is to give it a full gas effort up the hill. Oh, there's nothing worse. The only thing worse than pain is the anticipation of pain. And that's where we are now. I never really look forward to these. Especially when it's 2 degrees. Okay. Time to go full hoo-ha on this. Two minutes 43 is the time to beat. Well, 2:45 would be the time to beat. Let's see if we can knock it down a second. Who knows? Last time I actually tried to do this, I actually did worse. which is a distinct possibility today as well. Only one way to find out. So here comes the fun bit. We're going to smash the climb and I'm going to try and give you a rundown on it. First of all, here are Harry's stats for when he did the National Hill Climbing Champs that he won last year. 610 watts. Obviously, the length of the climb is, I don't want to say that similar. I think the one that we're doing is about 800 meters, and the one from the National Champs was 1.2k. Now you can see that he did 610 watts for that. Today on this climb, from his stats, he did 446 watts. So there is a massive difference. I'm just trying to show you guys that talent is talent. Good riders are good riders. He's just kind of put a bit of an effort in and just put down a time that is out of my reach apparently. Anyway, I'm now in the course. We're in. This is the Strava segment. Harry doesn't know it. I can cheeky. And in the top left, you can see how many seconds ahead or behind Harry is than where I am currently. Let's remember some of Harry's valuable advice. Save a little bit for the end, but also try and kind of put your effort in so that you finish 30 seconds beforehand and then hold on for dear life. This all comes into play, and you can see, I love the fact that this, when he did it, was 2020, and I asked him the other day in end of 2024, and he's still got like that perfect memory of how to ride this climb. And he does exactly what he says on the tin. I'm actually quite impressed with my watts to start off this, and you can see that I'm I think I get to like 6 seconds ahead of Harry because I go way too hard, way too soon, and I learn my lesson. So Harry's advice was quite simple. Pace it, negative split it. And you can see it now because I'm only 4 seconds ahead. He's 4 seconds behind me. This is Harry's tactic of riding these things with a negative split. Controlled, measured, not within yourself, obviously. Well, this is obviously well within himself. But you can see that he is able to sustain watts, where I'm just like dump watts, try and hold on for dear life. And this is where he just starts coming back. And he's being consistent at this point. This is him not actually kind of trying to hammer it. He's like consistently just holding reasonable wattage, putting a little effort up the hill. This is me. This is all out. This is everything I have. So, we're doing this in very different styles. But at this point, and we're quite near the top now, this is when he just kind of comes into his own. He's like, right, negative split vibe. I'm in that kind of like, oh, Harry told me to finish 30 seconds before the finish. And then I did, but I kind of just, I didn't have anything for the next 30 seconds. So he kind of starts melting off into the distance, and as you can see, he's now 2 seconds ahead of me. So he's gone from 5 seconds to 3 seconds, 4 seconds. He's just like able to sustain watts and then build on those watts further down these short punchy climbs, 6 seconds ahead of me, and he just starts melting off into the distance because, as he said, measured, controlled, save a bit for the top, negative split this, 9 seconds ahead of me, because the top of this climb, he's just able to just continue hammering it. My body was just about to go into cardiac arrest. We're different animals. I think he's 25, 26 years old, and I'm 42. I am giving it my all. I get to the top, and you can see, I think Harry kind of comes off the pedals a little bit here, as he's 13, so he's finished by now. He's finished now. He's 30 seconds ahead of me. I managed to claw, I'm hoping, at least 1 second back as we get to the finish line, which is around here. Oh, I'm so impressed. I love it. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining in on this one, and let's just figure out how I actually did. 1 sec.
That was so hard. Oh. My legs are in so much pain. I don't know. My entry was terrible. We'll check in a second. Give me a sec. Let me go and get my stuff.
Right, time to find out whether I can taste blood. I can literally taste blood. Okay, just uploaded Strava This is, congratulations, that's your second best power output for 1 minute. I'm okay with that. Let's see whether it was enough to get me up Quarry Wood for a PB. I'm not seeing any. I don't think we did it. I don't think we did it. My entry was terrible. So, where I said I got a bad start, I managed to hold 635 watts up until the first bend, where you hook back round on yourself, which is my third fastest time. My power output for 1 minute was 593 watts, my second best power output. My finish time was 2:56. How am I 11 seconds slower? How am I 11 seconds slower? Oh my God. Maybe it is the Christmas wait. The last time I did that was spring last year, I think, on the T1550. To be 11 seconds down, it's a bit of a kick in the nuts. But I'm not UK hill climbing champ, so I'm kind of all right with it at the same time. Let's head home and I'll sign this off. So I have to say that I love, even when Harry doesn't know where the start and finish is, or even the fact that it's a race. Whoosh. You know, he didn't know where the start and the finish is. He was out on a long ride with some mates and then just put a kick in. You know, he wasn't going full gas, right? There's start, there's finish, let's go, go, go. Not kind of that race scenario. And he still beats me by 13 seconds. And he had to ride home because it came from London and we're nowhere near London. We're out next to Marlow. I still think that's brilliant. I love the fact that the gulf of ability in cycling is so wide. I just don't really like the fact that I'm on the wrong side of that gulf. But it's nice anyway. It's a fun little ride out to do for the start of the year, because it means that if I can do that again in the spring, get back down to that 2:45 time, 11 seconds, which I should be able to do because I had a terrible entry, and the only way I can put in good times is if I hammer the start and kind of really enter the start of the climb kind of absolutely flying. I'm going to try and get a few mates to come do it with me and try and see whether I can hold their wheel, see if that helps at all. Guys, welcome to 2025. Hopefully it'll be a big year. Please do like and subscribe. We're going to do loads of racing this year, or certainly way more than I did last year. Chain gangs, we're going to get back to it. Nice to see you again, guys. See you next time.